How's my little boy? Can I see him? Where is he?
No, not just yet. We finally managed to break the fever, but we're still not sure what caused it. Now, the lab is running a second series of tests to confirm the findings of last night's test.
But that was hours ago. You must know something.
I know. I'm sorry, Victoria. I will have a definite answer as soon as these tests are complete.
Something's really wrong, isn't it? And you're just not telling me.
Victoria, I'm telling you everything that I know at this point.
I want to see my baby. He needs me.
No, he doesn't need you like this. No, I promise you we're doing everything we can to make sure that he's resting comfortably.
I don't want him resting comfortably. I want him laughing and playing with other kids.
And he will be, soon. Now, you're the one I'm concerned with here. You've got to pull yourself together for Chip's sake as well as your own. I don't think that you should be alone right now.
Look, I'm fine. Really, I'm fine.
No, you're not. Look, why don't you call your mother, okay? Let her come down
My
and wait
mother left
with you.
to go home.
Okay, well, then I'm going to put my head on the block here. Call Mason.
No.
Victoria,
no way.
Victoria, I know that you think you have a lot of reasons for not calling Mason right now, but the man has a right to know that Chip is sick. He is the boy's father.
Yeah. Sure. Listen, man. Okay, I appreciate you getting back to me so quickly. You bet. Bye.
Who was that?
Oh, that was my pal down in forensics. I don't think you ever met him, Zach. Well, it turns out that the skull definitely matched Mark McCormick's dental records.
And it has a bullet hole in it.
Yeah. Darling, how long ago was it that Mary died?
2 years.
Uh-huh. You know, I always assumed that Mark left town then. Obviously, he didn't get that far.
Cruz, maybe you should just drop this whole thing.
How can I drop it?
Why not?
Well, a murder was committed. I think there's an obligation to find out who did it.
No matter where this investigation leads you, you know as well as I do that if you found evidence on my family's property, it's a conflict. And with you involved, it could mean trouble for all of us.
And you know as well as I do, Eden, that there was no way I could predict that would happen when this whole thing started.
I just really, I wish... Your obligation ended when you turned in your badge.
What about my moral obligation? To find out the truth?
Cruz, please. Leave it alone. I just want you to try and understand.
I think I do understand. We can't sit on something like this just because we're afraid to face the consequences, you know? I mean, we have to come to grips with this sooner or later. As long as we live in this town and the present district attorney is in the office, every time something like this comes up, there's going to be a race, and I want to get to the finish line before he does.
Yeah, well, I hope that is the case. But
Open up, Castillo. I know you're in there.
Speaking of the devil,
I think you better let him in. I can't make my feet move toward the sound of his voice.
do you think he knows that we took the skull?
I'd be disappointed if he doesn't.
Come on. Time's a-wasting.
Yes.
Well, hello. You two honeymooners sure are up bright and early, aren't you?
Come right in.
Why? Thank you. I mean, here you guys are. You keep some hours, don't you? I mean, you're out like half the night, and then you get up here at dawn's crack. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, a regular Nick and Nora Charles.
That must make you Asta.
Funny, huh? I mean, clever girls, they just keep you guessing, but don't feel left out because you keep me guessing, too. You know, I was wondering about you, Cruz, all the drive over here, and I was wondering what kind of guy would go to all the trouble of filching a skull from Pamela Conrad's domicile, gift wrapping it, putting it on my desk, and then stealing it back again. I mean, you need a scorecard to keep track of the players here.
Is it you have a question? Is that you have a question?
1 or 3. What the hell are you doing breaking into my office and appropriating state's evidence? I mean, I got there this morning, and I just didn't see what I expect to see. Here we have, not only do we have the aforementioned cranium purloined, but we also have a report on my desk that says that said skull used to rest upon the shoulders of one, Dr. Mark McCormick.
I hope you're enjoying this, Eden, because I know I certainly am.
Oh, well, that's good because I'm not finished yet. I wondered even more. I said to myself, you know, here we have a guy who, you know, obviously no love was lost. He left a lot of blotches on medical annals. I mean, Dr. McCormick, look at this guy. I mean, he made as many enemies in Santa Barbara as he made house calls. But who would hate him so much they wanted him dead? So I started reviewing my rogues gallery, and I came up with one certain rogue. One man who stood out from all the rest that could profit from this man's untimely demise. And I can name this tune in 2 notes. Mason Capwell.
Look, I'm sorry I sounded so hysterical on the telephone. I'm really grateful you're here.
Chip's sick. Where else would I be?
Good, Mason. I'm glad you're here.
Boy, we're just going crazy waiting.
I think we finally found the infection, and we're treating it right now. Now we have to find out where it came from. Chip's test results from his blood cell count indicate that, yes, they are dangerously low.
But what does that mean?
What I suspect we're dealing with here is not uncommon with babies Chip's age. It's a disease of the bone marrow known as aplastic anemia.
Can you treat it?
Well, first, we have to confirm the diagnosis by running a test which requires a bone marrow biopsy. Now, I'm going to need your permission for that.
Is it going to hurt him?
He will feel a little discomfort and a little pressure, but we can't proceed without it.
And if it is what you suspect?
Well, then we'll go ahead and perform a bone marrow transplant using Chip's closest compatible relative as a donor. Now, usually we'd wait a few weeks to see if the bone marrow would repair itself, but Chip's case is very severe at this point, and we have to act immediately. So I'm going to need you both to stand by.
What are his chances?
Why don't we deal with one thing at a time, okay? Will you consent for the test?
Of course, anything to make him well.
I'd like to see Chip for a minute, if it's all right, Doctor.
Of course.
What are you doing to those plants?
Julia showed me how to do a Japanese flower arrangement.
So you're strangling them? Is that...
I am just trying to find something to do to keep my mind off our little impromptu visit from Keith Timmons.
Oh, now, come on, don't let him get to you, baby. You know, he's just grasping at straws.
I just hate this, you know. It's exactly what I was afraid of. He can't have one Capwell, so he's going to have another. I mean, can you believe the nerve dropping those threats about Mason?
He's fishing, you know. He doesn't have anything about Mason. He just came here to rattle your cage a little bit.
Well, you know how tenacious he can be. Oh. Brother, you know, he can't blackmail Daddy anymore, so now he's going to put Mason in jail. He wants Capwell blood.
I know. Well, the man can't help himself, you know. He's got evidence of a murder sitting on his desk, and it's burning a hole in his pocket. It's DA's dream come true. It has all the earmarks of a big, splashy front-page scandal.
Yeah, well, we've got to do something about this.
Now you're talking. I'm going to find out exactly what did happen to Mark McCormick.
What about Mason?
Well, Mark first. I'm going to start digging and see if I can find out what was going on when he died, who he was seeing, you know, what he was up to.
Unless Keith beats you to it.
No, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to let that happen. As long as I'm around, he's going to railroad anybody in this family. He's got to go through me first.